Hello, it's Danielle Mercurio, intuitive astrologist, here to tell you how you can make your dreams come true for the rest of March. Now, the first half of March, we had a very interesting beginning because we had a new moon paired with a solar eclipse. Now, when we have the new moon with eclipse energy, it means that it's more potent, more activated, more heightened. Now, it was a time where we could really start to assess what new beginnings we could look for in our life and what maybe we need to let go of and release. And the week that followed, the week in between where we are with the new moon to where we'll be with the full moon, is a time of release, new opportunities, extra energy, more tiredness. Everyone kind of feels it differently in the ways that it affects them based on where they are in their life currently. And so you may be experiencing a lot of waves of emotion, different ideas or concepts, people coming into your life, people leaving your life. So there's been a lot of activity. It's a cosmic chaos, if you will. However, it's reaching more towards the peak now as we reach the full moon. Now, the full moon is happening on March 23rd. It's happening at 8:01 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and it's happening in the sign of Libra. Now, we still get another eclipse energy. When there's a solar eclipse with the new moon, it means that the full moon that follows will have a lunar eclipse. Now, a lunar eclipse is when you have the full moon, and you have the sun, and you have the earth nestled right between the two. And the moon clips right by the earth into its shadow. And it takes about 4 hours for this onset to happen. So the actual eclipse energy of it clipping by the Earth's shadow will start at 5:40 a.m. Eastern Time, and it will run until 9:40 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So we've got a nice 4-hour window of this eclipse energy that's happening, and then in the middle of it is when the moon becomes its fullest, complete self in its cycle. So March 23rd in the morning for many of you, while you're sleeping for a lot of us on the East Coast, West Coast, will be daytime for those of you out in Europe and beyond. There's going to be a lot of heightened energy during those 4 hours. So the onset is 5:40 a.m. Eastern, and then it completes at around 9:54 to be precise Eastern Standard Time on the 23rd, with the actual onset of the moon becoming its most full at 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So there's a lot of activity. They're definitely playing some kind of game of kickball up there in the universe during that time. Now, what does that mean for us? How are we going to be affected? Eclipse energy is very intense because the planets are doing something a little bit different. The sun and the moon are dealing with our Earth in a way that it doesn't normally. It doesn't normally rotate in this way. The moon doesn't normally tuck into the Earth's shadow. And so we are going to feel that. We are going to feel this extra energy, this extra gravitational pull that will happen because of the eclipse. Now, how does that affect us energetically? We may feel more tired. We may feel a little bit more like, whew, I just let something go. I just exhaled. I didn't even realize I was holding my breath in. We may feel like everything's fine and we're just going through a normal day. We all feel it differently. We all respond to this energy in different ways, but you want to be curious. You want to be observational with how you're feeling. Don't dismiss how you're feeling. Don't judge or don't predict how you should be feeling and try to manipulate yourself so that you act a certain way. Just be as you are. Don't judge the experience. Some of you might just sleep through the whole thing and you never know. Some of you may feel it later in the day. Some of you may feel it later in the week. It all affects us differently. But what is happening on a whole, since this is happening while the moon will be hanging out in Libra and the sun will be positioned in Aries, what does that mean for us? So having the sun in Aries, whether you are an Aries sun sign or not, it's about first steps. Moving forward, Aries starts off the zodiac wheel. Aries is the warrior. Aries is the entrepreneur. Aries is the one that's head first, ready to go, excited, impulsive, let's do this. And then the moon in Libra, the full moon in Libra, is about balance, is about looking at our life and really reflecting and saying, is what I'm seeing in my outer world in alignment with what I believe in my inner world? Is there a duality of both? Do I feel like, for the most part, my outer world is reflecting what I wish to see? Or is my outer world complete chaos and has nothing to do with what it is that I really want? Why is that? Is there certain situations that you're in that are toxic or that aren't aligned with you? Are there certain relationships, friendships that you're continuing on that aren't on the same page or in alignment with what your future goals may be? The full moon with this eclipse energy will take some of that away from us if we don't have the willingness or the power or the strength to do it ourselves. So during a full moon eclipse, since the energy is so powerful and since the theme is about balance and making sure that our lives are on point with where they need to be, don't be surprised if something gets taken away or something gets let go or something new comes in. Something new is brought up from under the surface that you didn't even see coming. So allow yourself to be open either way. Allow yourself to, if something was taken away that you knew it was for the best, but you need to mourn, mourn. Be sad. Feel the feelings so that you can keep moving on and you can create the space for whatever new is supposed to be coming for you during this time. So really trust that the sun's energy in Aries is bringing in something new and exciting and fresh and energizing, while the full moon in Libra is allowing you to create balance and is allowing you to have your life be in a place where it is where it's supposed to be. And it does feel like, wow, everything's lining up as it's supposed to. Because as much as sometimes we hold on to the drama or the relationships that aren't serving us or go to work at jobs that we just don't feel satisfied from, we know that there's something more, and we hope for that, and we intend for that, and we believe in that. And wouldn't it be nice to actually start to see that happen? Wouldn't it be amazing to start to see some of these things come through to fruition? And, even though we get ourselves in situations that we're not crazy about, it's still sometimes hard to let go because it's safe. It's what we know. It's become our comfort zone. And so even though you know that you don't love your comfort zone, it's hard to walk away from it because you don't know what the other side may hold. And this is a time to have faith in the universe telling you, take a look at what the other side may hold. Take a peek. Allow yourself to open up the doors into something new and see what could happen. And allow yourself to be happy. Allow yourself to believe that you are worthy of living a life beyond your wildest dreams. You are worthy of living a life where things feel in order and at ease. And when they're not that way, it means that something needs to change, something needs to grow, and something needs to evolve. And so be willing to put yourself in this position during this full moon eclipse to be open to see another way, to ask for the alignment of your life, to be witness of where you need to be, and be willing to do the work. Now, that's going to play into what's happening on March 25th. On March 25th, we have Saturn going retrograde. Now, when we hear retrograde, people freak out. Retrograde essentially is a time where a planet starts to go in the reverse motion. It doesn't go backwards per se, but the actual motion of the planet starts to rotate in the opposite direction. Okay, and so Saturn is going to take its yearly, annual reroute and start to move backwards. And Saturn is the planet of karma and discipline and making sure the rules are set in place. And retrograde is a time of going within. So this is a time of self-discipline. It's starting on March 25th, and it will be continuing on until August 13th. So we're sitting with it for a good while, this Saturn retrograde. Now, this doesn't mean that the whole time Saturn's in retrograde, your life is going to be off tilt or uncomfortable or uneasy. The universe wouldn't give us something for that long if we couldn't handle it or if we couldn't benefit from it. So use the Saturn retrograde as a time of self-discipline to actually start to do the work that you are seeing the signs for that will bring your life into more alignment, that will bring you more balance. A lot of you will really start to not only access your dreams, start to really follow your passions, and you have to, of course, be willing to put in some effort. You have to be willing to show up. You have to be willing to try it out. You have to be willing to put yourself out there. Because as much as we can have the biggest, brightest, most gorgeous dreams in the world, we can vision to no end. We can sit up and just stargaze and dream out our entire life. There comes a point where you actually have to start to put in a little bit of the work, put in a little bit of the effort so that the momentum can be created and then the ease can slip right in and you really get to start to see things take off. So don't when you're starting something new, don't feel like the whole time it's going to be this big momentous effort and it's going to be a lot. In the beginning, it probably will be. In the beginning, there is a lot of trial and error, and there is a lot of putting yourself out there in whatever case that may be, trying things that are new, getting used to a new routine. But of course, once you do, it gets easy and it becomes natural and it becomes an extension of your being and your everyday life. And so finding the contentment and the ease within the self-discipline and using it to take inspired action to move yourself forward. So don't worry about Saturn retrograde, but actually be grateful that this is coming in to give you a little bit more structure in your life, a little bit more discipline in a more gentle way, and also to maybe put some new rules into place or to get you up and running and get you into a space where you're starting to really create some beautiful motion for what it is that you're looking to create in your life, or you're looking to embody or change or shift, and whatever that may be. And so March is a very, intense month because, like I said, we started off with the new moon, solar eclipse, clean slate. It was like power washer, super soaker from the cosmos, and just blasting away anything that doesn't need to stick to you anymore, and just shedding all the layers and layers and layers so that we can rise up and feel more ready. And with that, though, we may feel some rawness and we may feel some vulnerability. It's okay. Don't judge it. Don't dismiss it. Feel what you need to feel so that you can release it, so that you can let go, and that you can move into this space that we're in right now with the full moon eclipse that's happening on March 23rd, and use that as a time to restore balance in your life, restore order, allow the alignment for what really needs to be reflected in your outer world to be what feels really good and true in your inner world. And then with the Saturn retrograde that's happening until August, use it as a time to really implement some self-discipline and some grit and really go for it, and realize that you will be supported in that. And when you allow yourself to be in a space where you can kind of start to implement certain things, then it'll become more easy, it'll become more light, and you'll just fly through all of it. If you want to know more about what's happening in the cosmos and how it pertains to your life, I'm happy to do a one-on-one reading with you. Come over and hang out with us in the Facebook group. It's called The Dream Makers with Danielle Mercurio, or catch me on Periscope every Monday through Friday. All the information is below. Comment with anything that you're experiencing during this eclipse season, something that you're going through. I love interacting with you all. I'll be back in April. It'll be a little bit of a different flow to the month, but of course I will keep you informed and on your cosmic toes and ready for more. In the meantime, keep dreaming, stay true to you, and be open to the possibilities.